I love that about them. Trailblazers beat the Grizzlies by 5 in overtime. That was a great game. I mean, they're battling for a playoff spot right now. Ja Morant is the future of not only the Memphis Grizzlies, but the future of point guards in this league. Explosive. He reminds me of Russell Westbrook, except a little bit better shooter. He's got that explosiveness, that rim attacking, good ball handling, great decision maker. He brings a sense of energy that keeps the Grizzlies up, loud and proud. I really enjoy that about Ja Morant. So excited to see Ja Morant in the near future of the NBA. He's a young star in the making. Trailblazers, just consistency. They're always consistent. They always get into usually the last seed of the playoff. They always do a decent job. There's nothing too flashy with them. Carmelo Anthony looked good. Dame Dollar is an underrated all-star in this league. CJ McCollum played very well, but McCollum will disappear the first round of the playoffs like he always does every year. That's the only bad part about them. Don't see Portland really going too far, even though this was a great performance for them. The Suns handled the Wizards pretty decent. Devin Booker is one of the most disrespected stars in this league. Played very well. Suns, same thing. The Suns are just fighting. They're there. They're playing. There's nothing really at the end of the tunnel for them than to just get some more experience, to get a lot of these young guys in there and really just improve them as a team more so than them as individuals. The big game of the night was the Bucks versus the Celtics. What did I learn from this game that I didn't already know? Nothing. The Celtics are a very deep team. The Celtics are probably the deepest team in this entire playoff if you're looking at players from A to Z. But Jason Tatum didn't show up. It was LeBrick Tatum. It was ridiculous. Jason Tatum built an all-new stadium for them. Jason Tatum did not look good at all. The Celtics almost beat the Bucks with Jason Tatum playing so horrible and Brown really carrying this team late. What we know about the Bucks is this. Giannis Antetokounmpo is unstoppable, 15 feet and in. Move Giannis past the three-point line, he can be guarded very easily. The Bucks, I've said this like I said last year, I'll say it again this year, the Bucks are limited. The Bucks are one playmaker away. They are a Drew Holiday away from being the most unstoppable team in the NBA. Giannis might be the most unstoppable player as in getting to the rack, but when you make Giannis shoot, they're limited. The Celtics have a very good chance to knock the Bucks off and go to the championship. Jason Tatum did not play well. Kemba Walker sat out a whole lot. Brown played decent. I mean, Smart, I think, was their leading scorer. So when Marcus Smart is your leading scorer and your best player in Jason Tatum has a horrible game and you still have a chance to beat the Bucks, you've got to be very excited about where you're going. The Bucks are a very good team. They're very well coached. They're deep. They're big. They can rebound. The problem is the problem that Giannis is always going to have until he becomes consistent from the outside. You push Giannis outside and you make him shoot jump shots, Giannis is very limited, and so are the Bucks. Middleton is not a drive and create your own shot. He tried to do that a couple different times. It did not really end well for Chris Middleton. A lot of missed layups, doesn't get foul calls a whole lot. The refs aren't, keen on giving him calls. Giannis is really going to have to put this team on his back. And if there's a team that can keep Giannis out of the lane and can really crash and bang on the boards with him, I think the Lakers are a nightmare matchup for him. We saw that the last time they played. The Lakers have size on the inside. Giannis, they made him shoot. LeBron made him shoot, and it did not end well for the Bucks. Now, I'm not saying the Bucks are a horrible team or that I don't think the Bucks are definitely high contenders to get to the championship. Absolutely. They are the team to beat for sure. I'm just saying I think the Bucks are very limited, and they need to make sure that they have an offseason investment in a playmaking shooting guard. ViVincenzo can definitely be that guy, though. He had a couple good spurts. ViVincenzo's just young right now. He needs at least a year or two to really get under his belt, really get into his toolbox and be comfortable. ViVincenzo can be that guy. And if he is, then the Bucks are ready to win now. I think it relies on the wing play. Chris Middleton is not a slash to the rim, get 25 a night by driving to the rim and really opening up the floor for everybody else. So when you make Giannis shoot threes, when you make Chris Middleton have to drive to try and open up the court, and then you have players like Vincenzo and Eric Bledsoe just shooting a plethora of threes, it's not going to end well for the Bucks. But when the Bucks can get into their rhythm, when Bledsoe starts slashing to the rim, when Vincenzo had a couple really nice drives, and then Vincenzo can step out and hit some threes, when Giannis can drive and then hit that 15, 16-footer consistently, the Bucks are probably the most unstoppable team in the NBA, without a doubt. I don't want you to think that I'm hating the Bucks right now. I'm not at all. I just see some flaws. I see where teams are going to exploit them the further they get into the playoffs, and I think the Celtics are a team that could do that. The Celtics not necessarily are as big as them, but the Celtics have good wing defenders. They're going to force you to take a lot of jump shots, and if Giannis can't shoot a jump shot, consistently at least, if Giannis can't hit at least 4, 5, 6 jump shots a night, the Bucks are going to go out in 6 to the Boston Celtics. Just my opinion. Let me know what you think in the comments. I know that that's a very controversial statement. There's a lot of people that have hit me up about my opinion on the Bucks. It's not that I don't think the Bucks are good, so please don't hit me in the DMs and say that I think the Bucks suck. I don't. The Bucks are the best team in the East, without a doubt, with the best player in Giannis, with probably the best coach. Spoelstra is up there as well. What he's done with Miami is pretty darn good, considering that they have a lot of young guys. But overall, Celtics, if you're leaving this game, you're leaving with excitement because you have an opportunity to knock off the Bucks if you play well. You can't have Jason Tatum throwing up bricks and building you a new city every single time you play. But I think Jason Tatum, he gets on his game. This is a very good matchup. I am excited to see the Bucks and Celtics go deep and hopefully play for that spot in the championship. All right, well, let's just go ahead and we're going to wrap up. Like I said, this is going to be a lot shorter episode of The Locker Room. Let's go ahead and hit today's games. We've already had the Miami Heat play the Nuggets. The Nuggets were down 3 starters. The Miami Heat routed them 125 to 105. The Miami Heat are a very interesting team. They really are 1 or 2 players away from being the top team in the East. They are. They've got a lot of young talent that is good. Dragic, if I could say his name properly, has really taken on the role of when you have Dragic coming off the bench as your backup point guard, you're in a really good spot. If Jimmy Butler stays there and they can really pick up one more asset, the Heat are ready to win in the next couple years. I think they're very deep. They're great shooters. I like the young talent on that team. It's a cheap team right now with all the young talent that you've signed. 2 undrafted free agents are on this team that play in the rotation. So if that tells you anything about what an organization the Miami Heat are, it shows you that they're not only well-owned, but definitely well-coached, well-scouted. I really like the Miami Heat. The Denver Nuggets could be a very interesting play in the West. They could give the Clippers a lot of problems. They could give the Lakers a lot of problems if they're ever healthy. The problem is they never have everybody going at the exact same time. There's always this player out, that player out, and it really depends on their starting core to really kick it off. They've got a deep bench, but it depends on their starting core playing as a whole to really set the tone for what the Nuggets are going to do. Then the Thunder beat the Jazz 110 to 94. I love what the Thunder were bringing to the court today. The energy, I thought Chris Paul looked old in some areas, but sharp in others. Their team looks unified. They looked energized. I liked what the Thunder brought. The Thunder are going to be an interesting matchup if they can maintain a playoff spot. The Thunder are going to be an interesting matchup and are going to keep the Lakers or the Clippers on their toes definitely in the first round. I don't think it's going to be an easy walk into Oklahoma City, which they're all in Orlando, of course, but I mean, go play Oklahoma City and just be able to walk out of there in 4. I think the Thunder, they look good, they look sharp, their shooting look good. They're going to be a tough out definitely in the first round. I would not want to see the Thunder in the first round. The Jazz, like I said, inconsistent. You saw one team on Thursday. You have a completely different team on Saturday. That's my big beef with the Utah Jazz. Way too inconsistent. If they could get some consistency, they have a very good team. But that's my problem. I mean, plain and simple, it's point proven today. They get routed by the Thunder because of inconsistency. Inconsistent guard play, inconsistent big man play. Steven Adams really showed that Rudy Gobert was his B, as a lot of us would say. So Thunder, definitely would not want to see you in the first round of the playoffs. Last but not least, we have 2 more games left. The 76ers play the Pacers. That is kind of a don't fall asleep game. 76ers should run away with that after the Pacers lose their best player. Well, not necessarily their best player, but he played the best all year. So he is out. Lakers versus Raptors. This is the big game of the night. I fully expect the Lakers to come out and win by at least 20. That's not, I say 20 if the starters stay in all the way through. If the Lakers can really push and take care of business, I think a lot of their starters are going to hop out of the fourth quarter, and it could get within 5, 6 towards the end. But the Lakers should be within a blowout by the time the starters leave. I don't see any reason why LeBron James doesn't wake up, show out tonight. He needs to silence a lot of people that are running their mouths about what he did in the previous game. Even though he didn't play well, he still ended a game, still had a game winner. But it is LeBron James. He is the most criticized athlete in history, so a lot of people still knock on him for that. So LeBron needs to come out and prove a point. We need to see Anthony Davis insert his dominance in the fourth quarter as well. We need to see the Lakers bench. I think that's what's key. The Lakers bench tonight has got to come out. They've got to prove that they can be consistent. This is a big game for the Lakers. Not a lot of people think so. But I think that this is going to be a big game for the Lakers. I think that the Lakers definitely need to prove to the league that they've got a deep bench. LeBron James is just as good as ever, and Anthony Davis is the second star and the best player, the best second player in the bubble. LeBron James is the first. Anthony Davis needs to continue to prove that he's the second best player in this entire bubble. Well, there you have it. There's my quick little NBA rundown for the first couple days. I will continue to have, of course, NBA content coming. New podcast drops this coming Tuesday. I apologize if I do sound, like I said, a little groggy or a little unenergized. Of course, I am very energized. I'm always excited and blessed to be doing an episode of The Locker Room. Just not feeling the best right now, so hopefully by Tuesday, my voice will be back and better than ever. Make sure you follow The Locker Room on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I will give you those one more time. Instagram, The Locker Room Podcast 615, Twitter, TLR with Jacob, and Facebook, The Locker Room host Jacob. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, share with your friends. Continue to keep the buzz about the Locker Room going. It is exciting. We've got big things coming, so continue to dab us up. Continue to give us the love. We really appreciate it. Once again, I'm Jacob Courtwright, and this is The Locker Room.